And one of the things that I hope you do when you leave this rally is get rid of that mindset that we can't do something. Because we can do something. We can do whatever it is that all of you decide has to happen. And so if you're still doubtful about your own voice, you heard some people saying fired up and ready to go, but not all of you know the story behind it. So let me tell you how we got that slogan. We were in South Carolina, one of the early states, and I was sitting next to a state representative at a legislative banquet, and I really wanted her endorsement. I said, "State Representative, I want your endorsement." And she looked at me and she said, "Obama, I will give you my endorsement if, but only if, you come to my hometown of Greenwood, South Carolina." So I must have had a glass of wine or something, because right off the bat I said, "Okay, I'm coming." Only to find out later that Greenwood is about an hour and a half from every place else. It's remote. So the next time we fly into South Carolina is about a month later. And I've been campaigning for a week or two straight. I mean, I am beat. We get into the airport about midnight, get to the hotel about 12:30. I'm going into my room, and suddenly I feel this tap on my shoulder. "Senator?" I said, "Yes." It's one of my staff people. They say, "You got to be in the car at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning." I said, "What?" 6 a.m. I said, "Why?" He said, "Because we've got to go to Greenwood like you promised." So the next morning I wake up and I'm exhausted. I feel terrible. I drag myself out of bed, try to pull the curtains open to let some sunshine in, wake me up. It's a miserable day outside, pouring down rain. I go to try to get some coffee, open up the newspaper. There's a bad article about me in the New York Times. I pack up, I go downstairs, I'm trying to get into the car, my umbrella blows open, and I get soaked. I'm drenched with rain. So now I'm sitting inside the car, and I am cold, wet, sleepy, and mad. And so in this fashion, I start driving out to Greenwood, and we drive, and we drive, and we drive, and we drive. Finally, we get to Greenwood. Although you don't know you're in Greenwood right away. There aren't a lot of tall buildings in Greenwood. There are fields. And then there's a park, and we pull alongside a park, and there's a little building there, and we go inside the building, and lo and behold, after this hour-and-a-half drive to Greenwood, there are only 20 people there. And they all look like they got rained on. And maybe they're not that excited to see me. But, you know, I'm running for president, and we've learned that every single vote counts. So I start shaking hands with everybody. How do you do? What do you do? What's going on in Greenwood? And suddenly, we hear this voice behind me shout out, "Fired up!" And everybody in the room from Greenwood, they all say, "Fired up," like this is the most normal thing in the world. And then we hear the same voice say, "Ready to go!" And the other 20 people, they all say, "Ready to go." And I don't know what's going on, so I look behind me, and there's this little woman. She's maybe about 5'3". She's about 65 years old. She's got a church outfit on. She's got a big church hat, got glasses. She's smiling right at me. She points at me, she says, "Fired up!" Turns out that this woman is a city councilwoman from Greenwood who is famous for her chant, who is called, in fact, the chant lady. She's been doing this for years now. She's very proud of this chant. And so for the next 5 minutes, she just keeps on chanting, "Fired up, ready to go, ready to go." And I don't know what to do, because I'm figuring I'm the presidential candidate. I thought I'd be the center of attention in Greenwood. So I'm just standing there waiting for it to kind of wane, and my staff's looking at me, they're shrugging their shoulders. But here's the thing, Boston, after about a minute or so, I'm feeling kind of fired up. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go. So, every time, so I just joined in the chant for the rest of the day, even after we left Greenwood. I was feeling kind of good every time I saw my staff. I said, "You fired up?" They said, "I'm fired up, boss. You ready to go?" I said, "I'm ready to go." So it goes to show you how one voice can change a room. And if one voice can change a room, then it can change a city. And if it can change a city, then it can change a state. And if it can change a state, then it can change a nation. And if it can change a nation, then it can change the world. Your voice can change the world. Your voice can provide health care for all Americans. Your voice can provide quality education for everybody. Your voice can transform our foreign policy. So I've only got one question left. Are you fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Let's go change the world.